if you look at the various schools of creed, the three major schools of creed, the Ash'a'ira, the Maturidis, the Athari tradition, they all have this concept of the Fitra. And the Fitra is basically the primordial state, the original state, the innate disposition. It's the kind of original, normative, innate disposition. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in an authentic hadith in Sahih Muslim that every child is born upon the Fitra, this innate state. And the Fitra, the word itself, coming from the triliteral stem, fatara, which you have words like fatrun and fatarahu, it's like something has been created within us to acknowledge the divine. Now, there are two main opinions in the classical tradition concerning the innate disposition. Irrespective of what position you take, it's still coherent with regards to what we're going to say today. And the first opinion is that the Fitra has a form of primary knowledge or proto-knowledge. It's not knowledge in itself, but it's more of an innate primary building blocks of knowledge. And what is that knowledge? That God exists, that he's worthy of extensive praise, and some scholars argue a sense of objective morality, some objective morals. And what happens, and you could use this metaphor, which is based on the hadith that I mentioned before, because the continuation of that hadith basically talks about the parents, it doesn't use those words, but there's a kind of veiling or clouding of the Fitra, and the child moves away from the normative natural state. So you can use a metaphor of the Fitra gets clouded, and the whole point of life, the whole point of da'wah, the whole point of engaging with tradition, engaging with Muslims, is that these things become ways to uncloud the Fitra, to awaken the truth that's already within every single human being. The other opinion is, which I think echoes the opinion of, I think the majority of the scholars, including Ibn Taymiyyah, although there is a debate, but also Al-Ghazali, known as the Proof of Islam, the 11th century theologian and polymath, they basically argued that the Fitra doesn't have primary knowledge, but it's like, and I'm using this in contemporary language, it's like a vehicle driving towards the truth. And if the windscreen is clouded, it cannot drive towards destination truth. So our job, or the job of life, the job of the believer, and the job of the person whose Fitra is clouded, is to ensure that unclouding process takes place, so the Fitra could direct itself towards the truth. Now, what that does is that really gives us a kind of picture of this natural state that everyone believes in some kind of creative agency.